So, good morning, everybody. I'm very excited to introduce Ada Guna to you today. And we met at the college, and I just want to share a little bit about my impressions of Ada and why I'm so happy that she's here to share with you today. So, Ada is a pioneer, and she's a woman who has a fierce love for plants. And we met at Pacific Rim College, where I came to know her as someone who is really true to herself and somewhat unconventional. In that, Ada's always been super relatable. And I know you, Ada, for your humor, your kindness, and your total detachment from what others think about you. And that's super refreshing. You're very, very authentic. And you have a very, very deep relationship with plants, and it's a love affair and it's medicine. And there's this incredible passion to share it with people. You're a free spirit. And in that, what was the college experience like for you?
It was a little bit strange. uh, I I don't do well in like a classroom type of environment. I don't think I'm a very hands-on person. Uh, that being said, I can listen and like osmose things, but yeah, like structure sometimes feels a bit um like suffocating. That might be a bit of an intense statement, uh, but it's nice when things free flow, and so, but I love the professors are amazing. There's so many good people, and I met some awesome, like such good souls, right? So overall it was a very positive experience.
So the biggest challenge was the structure of it all.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Because I came from working directly with plants and growing them, to like listening about them, rather than like touching them or feeling them. so so it's a bit of a shift. I learned a lot though. I'm not gonna, I learned a lot, in a different from a different way, which is okay. It's good to expand your mind and not just, have like one style that you're sticking to. So it was good for me, I think. Yeah.
What did you bring that was unique and quite celebrated there?
Yeah. Well, uh one thing that I caught on, that I could do, there was one professor in particular that kind of encouraged that exploration. Was I can very easily close my eyes and get very direct questions from plants, like if I ask them what they do in the body, what kind of emotional ailments they heal. I get very clear answers. So it was fun. I think that was one thing that I was bringing that was a little bit more fun. Maybe was when we would do blind tasting of plants, and I could just, like, oh well, this one is like, this and this, what the, so that was kind of fun. But I sometimes I felt a little bit, um I felt a bit shy sharing those things. Sometimes I felt really intimate, like I get very clear visions from plants, and sometimes I was like, okay, maybe I'll keep that one to myself. Maybe that's not for sharing. And part of it is when I do that is I have very clear intentions of uh preserving the uses of the plants only for the positive, um, never for, negative or holding power over other people. It's always to help. So sometimes, when the plants show me certain things, I don't know if there's other energies that might take advantage of that. So I just keep it to myself, if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense. And it sounds like this instructor for sure was giving
Hmm.
room for that part of
Hmm.
you.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
for sure. Yeah.
in college situations that are so book oriented, it's like, wow, such a surprise when someone would lean into just the feeling aspect.
Yes, I'm very strong in the feeling aspect.
So all of this started really early for you in childhood. I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, so my great grandparents were farmers. So and I didn't really meet them very much because we moved countries where they had this farm. But my grandpa, uh, who I got to grow up alongside, um, and who it's funny, like now my mom's like, "Oh, you are grandpa," and I'm like, "What?" So his spirit is definitely with me all the time. Um, but I grew up watching him in the gardens, like just growing stuff. And I just remember bringing, he would be like, okay, go get me like a black coffee, as he's like working in the
Mhm.
sun, right? And like me, like giving him this coffee and looking up at this like tall, dark man, right? And be like, wow, I want to be like you, grandpa. Like it was funny. And he just, he was really good with plants. And but he was also, he loved to go hunting and fishing, and he was a very outdoor person. That's how he grew up, right? Doing that. So I can definitely relate to his spirit a lot.
Wow. So
Yeah.
an excellent teacher.
Really good. Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because the rest of my family is like not interested very much. So they're like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
You had a dream or a vision as a child that's like
Mhm.
fascinating.
Yes, yeah. So when I was around 7 or 8 years old, um, I saw myself in the future. Uh, yeah, and so I was older. I was probably in my 50s, maybe 60s, I don't know. It was after the mother phase. So and I was in a jungle, and I was just, walking around eating plants and like knowing them like medicine, right? And I was only 7 or 8 when I had this vision, I guess, and I didn't really understand it at all. At that, I was just like, okay, whatever, because I'd had different visions about things in the future, which happened, but this one was like, okay, I don't know, I'm a kid, right? And then gradually, as I started working with on farms and with plants, then I understood, I remembered it, and I was like, okay, this is going to happen one day,
Mhm.
like this is going to be my path. And and when I was in the vision, it was like a proper, like it was like jungle, like it was like, you know blue morpho butterflies, and kid imagination. But now I'm starting to think it might be here because this is kind of a forest. So I'm kind of, this might be happening here.
Wild woman in the forest, plant medicine lady. Oh my goodness. And the fact that you remember that vision is like it must have been pretty powerful for you.
Yeah, it was very powerful. Um, yes, and confusing at the time, but not really. I kind of understood. You kind of know things on a deep level, and when they unfold, you're like, oh wow, like that's the thing. Okay, whoo, all right. Like my little self knew before I even knew, right?
Did you share it with your mom and your dad?
Um, no, no, I didn't share it. I mean, when you're a kid, it's like, oh yeah, imagination, right? But yeah, I don't think I shared it until maybe later as I got older. Um, yeah.
What about with grandpa?
So my grandpa died around that time. So I think that might have been actually him. I don't know. Kind of guiding me. Yeah, that could have been him.
Yeah.
Because
Very
he died
interesting.
like 8 or 9. So yeah. So that might have just been him trying to help out.
Does he show up for you now?
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
awesome.
He's a good he's my gateway to ancestors. Like he's my when I want to know more about my own ancestors, he's the one I go to. He was just a funny guy. He loved, he loved, he was very social. So he's always like, I don't know. This might sound a bit nuts, but when, I converse with ancestors, he's always like, oh, like introducing us. Like, so, so yeah, he's a good gateway to other realms. And I find when I have really deep questions and I have like, I'm at like a crossroads and I have to ask, I usually either go to the really big trees here or uh to grandpa. But grandpa is always sneaky in his answers. He's always like, yeah, no. He's like, yeah, why are you at here? And I'm just like, dang it, grandpa. Like, I need some clear. But it's funny, like when I have gone to him for counsel afterwards, it's like, okay, that's what you meant. I get it now.
So the messages are sometimes obscure, and so you have to contemplate or
Mhm.
yeah.
I have to contemplate, or the answers come after the fact, and then it all becomes clear. I'm like, oh, that's what grandpa meant. Okay, all right. You know, thanks, grandpa.
Wow. Yeah. I love that
Yeah,
you see him as a gateway. Like that's so powerful
yeah.
and so accessible to you. So if you call on him, does he
Mhm.
show up or he just shows up randomly for you?
I can call on him. Yeah, anytime. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got my back.
You
He's
know,
actually, yeah. I see him as this like like a centaur. Anyway, one like Halloween, I I talked to him and I realized his energy was like a centaur. It was like solid and it was behind me and he was just like ready for, like a very protective energy, but very solid. And
mm,
yeah, it was interesting. Yeah.
man, that's like so special.
He yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Does he does he show up and he offers you counsel
Yes. Hmm.
and vision.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that counsel and that vision or those visions, I get the sense that it helps bust through illusions that you might be struggling with in 3D here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as
Oh.
he might have been around a lot lately in the last few years.
I It was helpful for me in the last few years living in nature, because it's just all around like that. It's so easy to access that realm when if you're just in it, right? So I found that was my biggest medicine, was just being outside. He definitely played a part, um, but I would just connect with the like older spirits of the the older plants, the elders here, and they've seen some things,
Uh,
so it's just a very solid energy. And honestly, the energy that is offered is not even necessarily like grandpa or tree. It's like that infinite energy that's in all of us, right? It just comes through as like this spirit or that spirit, but really it's just like an infinite like fountain, right? Like that's in every person that is easily accessible and is there for you, like always. So
beautiful. So you
yeah.
have a little daughter, and
Yeah.
does she have this relationship with grandpa as well? Because you know how transparent children are.
Mhm.
Or is there another ancestor that you see that is aligned with her?
Well, for her, it's interesting because she's named after my grandma, and my grandma's still alive. Um, and so Leka, she's named after her great grandma, and great grandma's still around, and they have such a good bond together. The two of them are just like two little girls. When they're
Aw.
around each other, it's so cute. Like it's
Aw.
cute. They just bring out this little kid energy in each other. It's very beautiful to watch. So I think for her right now, that's the energy that she's connecting to. But definitely, once Mamaika passes on, definitely that will be her like counsel, you know. So
Incredible. What a gift.
it is it yeah, it's something that makes me very happy to see. Yeah,
It's like grandma is infusing her wisdom into Leica, into this wee
totally.
one.
Hmm.
And yeah, that bond it's unbreakable.
It's beautiful. And one thing that I always really love, I mean, I still really love she's still, but really love about my grandma, specifically is she taught me unconditional love. Like she was the one that taught me that. And so for Leica to understand that too, you know, I'm just happy that that energy is still around, Not that I try to emulate it, but I think it's easier when you're like an elder maybe, to do it. So,
So, as a mom, what is it that you're infusing into her that you would say is like always up front and center?
yeah. I I want her to know that she's loved no matter what. That's my top priority.
Mm.
Uh and to make sure she has enough time to be herself, like as much as she wants to be. Um yeah. And I think that's my goal. it's a very it's not um I don't worry too much about like, oh, what kind of school is she gonna go to, or I just want her to live a pleasant life on this earth, right? Like that's what we came here to do. It's not about, I don't know. It's different for everyone, but for me it's just like I just want her to enjoy her life, like and to have good community and love, and that's the most important to me. Yeah.
It sounds like allowing her, giving her space and to become her own person is
Yeah.
super valuable to you.
Oh yeah, for sure. We came here, you know, to
Mhm.
be, we chose, right? So just let her explore that choice of who she came to be. That's fulfilling in itself, I think anyway.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's such a gift to be a mom,
Oh man, but the highest gift, right?
right? Do you
Yeah.
believe that she chose you and your husband?
Oh, for sure. For sure. in more ways than one, in the sense of like she brings things that are challenging sometimes. I'm
And
like,
so she
okay,
should.
yeah, right. And so I'm like, okay, so I gotta learn.
Mhm.
I gotta learn here. We gotta do some learning. But then also, just to be a better person, like to to learn how to be a great person, for her, right? Um, I think that's what she's bringing for sure. She makes me like strive to be the best version of myself for her, right? Not like as in like, oh, I gotta like hustle, or it's more just, oh, I gotta be like a good person. I have to be respectful. I have to, like, and so she learns that. Um, yeah.
What's interesting about having children, because I have children too that are
Yeah.
grown and grandchildren, uh, what I'm always present to is that I'm the teacher and they're the student. And
Mhm.
then it's like, wait a minute, I'm the student here. Right. And it's very humbling and it's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. Oh man, hilarious. Like sometimes hilarious too. Like, where so she comes in the morning and gardens with me after she wakes up, right? She cuddles Papa for a little bit and then she comes and hangs out in the garden with me. And I have like so I have certain songs that I sing to my plants when I tend to them and I water them. She's and she's like, "What are you singing, Mom?" And I'm like, "Oh, just some songs that the plants like." She's like, "They also like Queen." Like, yeah, they do. I can't argue. She's like rock,
Oh,
like singing Queen.
oh my gosh. Yeah, she
Like,
wants to jazz it up a little bit.
yeah, she's like, "Oh, it doesn't
Wake
have to be
up.
like so dull and boring, Mom." Like, yeah,
Oh my gosh. I love it.
funny kid, right?
Aw, yeah, they're incredible, incredible. I think
Yeah.
I've learned the most from having little kids because they just tell it as it is.
Yeah. And when they're like hurting, it's very clear, like that something is amiss, around. It's like, okay, what the energy has changed. Like we got to focus our energy in, right? Like what's
Mhm.
going on. So they're a good mirror. They're a really good mirror too.
Mm,
Hmm.
awesome. I want to talk next about the things that you do. So, you, of course, have lots of training, like in school, as well as just your own background with respect to preparing tinctures and potions and different medicines. Um, talk about what you're doing that way, because I do know you have offerings for people.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So um I love plants. And so I always want to I feel happy when I'm gardening, when I'm growing them and tending to my 1 million babies, like I say to Grant. But so I have a lot of, we've planted a lot of herbs, medicinal herbs. Our plan for this property is to make it into like a permaculture haven, like having animals. That's like a next year thing, but also just fruit trees and all like berries, everything, right? And then keeping a fair bit wild, um, as a steward, right? Uh, but then, so the herbs, the medicinal herbs, definitely, I make medicinal tinctures. So I grow them, from babies, and then I process them. I make tinctures and oils for skincare type products, and I always try to uh, I mean, obviously, I grow certain plants that I know are healing. Like for example, like a skin cream would have like gotu kola or plantain or calendula, or, just very healing plants, because it's not just about having a glow. It's also about like healing the skin, right? Like on a
Mm.
if you put a cream on your face that's on a daily basis healing your skin, then you're healing, like it's so yeah, that's kind of my, in terms of like the more um physical offerings. I also see patients. Herbs are amazing medicine. So I take herbs daily, have been for years and years. So they're good for all kinds of conditions and a lot of things that right now we're seeing on a mass level. They're helpful. Um, they even just help with, even I feel like that's their main thing that they do. They work on the physical, but they work on the emotional and spiritual level mostly, right? They're subtle beings. So that's one thing, is making the medicines, and then making the teas and the tinctures for people. Yeah.
So you're individualizing the
Yeah.
applications depending on the patient. Do you have
Hmm.
like bases for these things, like something that you always put into all the medicine, or is it right from scratch depending on the person?
All depends on the person. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
like very individualized. There's not like a base. There's never a base. And one thing that might be good for one person one month, the next month they don't need it anymore. So they've gone through that process of healing with the plant, and then you know they might not see me again for a year, until they're like, oh,
Yeah.
this thing, right, that has come up now.
Mhm.
Like, okay, so
Is
it changes.
there is there a theme that's kind of showing up a lot lately with
Hmm.
regards to the medicine that people need?
Hmm. Yeah. um for sure, there's several I could see like underlying. One is the need for nourishment is very high right now. Um, there's a lot of very deficient, people walking around, and deficient like in minerals, um, deficient. And so I did nutrition as well, right? That was part of my schooling. So um, I just see it as there's like a lot of need for nourishment, not just on like a physical, but also like a spiritual level. And there's a lot of uh, heart related issues right now that I'm seeing. There's a lot of sleep, sleep issues, muscle issues, anxiety. Obviously, the side effects of all of this in the past couple years has been very isolating on many people. So there's that aspect as well.
What kinds of things would you put into a tincture that would help somebody with that anxiety?
Hmm. Uh, there's many plants. Um, that it really depends on the person. Some people are more like high energy anxiety. Others are more depressive anxiety. So I can't say like specific, but like passion flower is a beautiful plant, extremely relaxing. Um, Works on the crown chakra level. And the nervous system. Same with skullcap, works on the nervous system. Um, that's another beautiful one that I grow a lot of. I feel like if I surround myself with these plants, I'm like, oh, this is so great.
Well, you
They're
must
like,
be you must be getting the vibrational frequency of the
yeah,
plant and
oh, for sure.
absorbing it when you're harvesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's a good
sometimes I wonder
position. Yeah.
if I get too lazy around certain ones. I'm like, I could sit here and not do anything. But yeah, so those are for like uh nervous system restoration, right? So they would nourish the nervous system, like the nerves as well, right?
Mhm.
Mm. And I find there's a anxiety also has to do with lack of minerals. So nettle is a huge one. Um, that's just like a daily thing that people should, if they feel like they're lacking minerals, that's definitely something that's a great herb to include. Um, yeah.
So when you, let's say you give a person a tincture for that
Mhm.
anxiety or unrest or
Mhm.
insomnia, do you
Yeah.
also provide counsel with respect to connecting to the soul self or spirit self?
Oh, yes, all the time. Um, I feel like sometimes I serve as a reminder to, there's more. There's more than just your daily, uh, what feels like insurmountable issues, right? There's more, and we're. I mean, this comes down to like personal belief, I guess, but like I was saying, we underneath our physical meat suits, we are like infinite. I mean, like uh we connect, our spirit is part of that infinite fountain, right? And we can connect to it at any time and it's always there. So that is a good starting point for people to connect back and, meditate on and breathe into. Nature is a great reminder of that because it's just keeps going, right? So you go out in a forest walk or to the beach or whatever, wherever you like, mountain, and it's easier to remember and that it's in you and you have all the answers that you need, right? Um, yeah.
Can you give an example of a patient that you've had that has had like a real aha or awakening with respect to take or that coincides with taking the tinctures or medicines?
Hmm. Yes. So uh, I would say it was like a more ceremonial setting. Um, but just epiphanies, certain realizations happening, talking through as the medicine is working through their bodies, just letting them work through what they needed to, right? And for some people, it's physical. For other people, it's like they need to talk it out, right? And for other people, it's very abstract and um, they just need someone to ask questions about uh, what they're seeing or experiencing. Um, but yeah, I can definitely think of I don't know if I should be sharing like a specific individual that might, I don't want to like put anybody,
Hmm.
like a
I
weird,
get it.
but definitely there's been some big moments of like, okay, like, and like relaxation from like a extreme anxious,
Mm.
you know, to like a very relaxed and like, okay, it will be okay. Right.
Hmm.
So a lot of I think what we have to remember is a lot of the time we don't give ourselves time or space to even just to go through things, right? We just keep going. It's like, no, like when you're experiencing anything, that's your body's way of telling you you need to slow down and fully, experience and think about what's going on, right? Um, to not put it off, kind of, right? But,
It sounds like you remind people to fall into the arms of all that they are
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
take responsibility for simply showing up.
Yeah, taking responsibility is a big one. It's not fun, but I mean, it can be fun. I think it's fun, but but it brings you back into your own power, right? That's where your power lies is in like self ownership, right? It's like, okay, so how am I contributing to this? How can I not contribute to this, right? Because we definitely have patterns that, you know, sometimes we have to be called out on. Um, yeah.
What I know of you is that you would call them out on that in the kindest way, but
In the
just
most yeah,
yeah,
in the most loving.
beautiful, all wrapped up.
Yes, in like a cozy way. I don't wanna be
Yeah. I
jokes or
think
whatever.
cozy is a great way to describe it.
Yeah. It's like, let's get you really nice and cozy so we can unearth some shit.
That's the Ada I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
But it's, it's not always beautiful and it's not always bubble baths, right? Like this is, I mean, sometimes it is nice bubble baths, but it but it's often through the hardship, right? And through facing the our demons, right? That we can see the brightest light, right? The So sometimes that needs to happen.
let's talk about the demons for a second. And I mean, again, I mean that in the nicest way.
Yeah, right.
But so those are aspects of ourselves that
Mhm.
really get in the way. And so you can, by providing tinctures, you are again unearthing that, unwrapping it for them to see. So again, you're back to the mirror image that you refer to a lot.
Mhm.
Is that correct?
Yes, so it's the plant spirits that are doing the work. I'm just the messenger. I'm not really. I mean, I don't want to take credit for what the plants do, right? Like if I close my eyes and then I can. There's usually plants that stand right out for the person, right? And if they're taking them, they will help them work through their stuff. I'm just the person who's putting the stuff together. I don't I don't like to take too much credit for it, because I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just shy or something. I don't know, but I did. I feel like the plants are doing most of it, and the people themselves are doing the biggest majority of it. Like they're even just showing up is a huge step, right? The first step to awareness is like showing up, right? So, uh, I think, yeah. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, I love it. That's awesome. Which brings me to a really special thing that you provide for people, which is ceremony. It's a
Right.
fascinating area. And I think that what you have to offer that way is like brilliant. Can you tell us more?
Yeah, it's usually a one-on-one um, situation. Um, Mostly because I like to give people the time and the energy and the space. I can understand if the person is very experienced, that how they could handle many different energies at the same time and many different energies at the same time. But I'm not sure I'm quite there yet. So it would be definitely a one-on-one kind of deal. Um, and yeah, we have a beautiful property here that's out in nature. It's very wild. So I usually set up an area. Um, and so what I use is psilocybin mushrooms. And the dosage depends on the person and their size, but also where they're at and what they want to accomplish. So before we even begin, we'll usually chat for a while. I'll meet them at least once before and hang out and talk, uh, and see kind of what they're wishing for, or what their needs are, or where they're at, or you know uh and how I can you know provide that. And then yeah, so when they arrive, um I we just again chat a little more just until they're kind of comfortable, and then we agree on our what we're going to take. And there's usually tobacco involved, tobacco that I've grown here, um that I've dried and processed and all that. And so that we use for cleansing before and during and after uh, opening and closing um, ceremony. It's a really strong plant for that. Um, One of the strongest medicines that we have. And there's we have a lot of flowers growing here.
Mm.
So I'll make a bath, a little bath, a flower bath, because flowers are cozy. And, depending on where somebody's at, um, if the energy is too intense, we'll come back to the flowers and the bath, just to refocus our energy. But basically just guiding people through their brainscape, and like what's going on, and just letting them be fully themselves without any judgment and full love, right? Because that is where the struggle is most of the time. Uh, so I don't know, if I'm really I think my energy is just to be present with people, and to love them through whatever they need. Um, and yeah, if that answers the question. But
That's
yeah,
awesome. And it's a one-on-one venture, correct?
it's a one-on-one. Yes, I'm not quite ready for the multiple people at a time. I know there are a lot of people, who are more advanced on the path. Like they can have like 20 people, at a time. I still feel like I just want to focus on one person at a time, but who knows, maybe that'll change. I have no idea.
It seems like it would be like even more intimate and you would feel really held in the space for those who
Hmm.
are newbies to that. Like I've
Yes.
never done it myself and that kind
Right.
of tender care is like
Hmm.
very appealing.
Yes. Well, if for a lot of people, if it's a first, then I prefer just a one-on-one, right? Um, yeah, because things arise, and I think it depends on the type of medicine for sure. A lot of people, when they go and do like different types of medicine, like ayahuasca or San Pedro, or you know more advanced, like uh, different, I guess, medicine. A lot of people already have that like experience with um, psilocybin mushrooms, and so they're going in. They kind of know what they're getting into, but not everybody. And then they're like in full throttle mode. So I I think psilocybin is a good beginning place for sure. Um, mhm.
When they see you once, is there a follow-up?
That depends on the person. I usually, I will check in with people, for sure, to see how they're doing, and then chat with them after that, um, and also encourage people to journal or draw certain things that they saw, and just to meditate on those things. Or if there's something that really stood out to them, to take action according to that intuition. Um, so it depends on, yeah, the person, if they wish. What my thing is I'm not pushy. I don't like to be pushy. I find that very um like the opposite of the energy that is healing, almost. So I'm just like, okay, come to me, right? I'm always like, people come to me, you know.
Mm.
Yeah.
There's a quote from Alberto Villoldo, who's a, a teacher and calls himself a shaman. And in his book, One Spirit Medicine,
Hmm.
he says, dethroning the tyrant king. And it's all about knowing that the mind is mad.
Hmm.
I just love that. And it seems so applicable to what you're doing. So you're connecting people to get outside of themselves because the mind is the trap.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, the mind is the trap, and it's also the gold. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's also,
Oh,
you know, like
nice.
it's also once you get into the back there, like, and you stop using stop going from the ego mind and then start connecting to the infinite one, right? Then I feel like, but that's still, you're still using your mind, to do that.
So
So,
they can cohabitate, like they can get along. It's a cooperation in a sense.
oh, for sure, yeah. And there's guidance, right? There's always ones that are guiding you. It's just very, I think intention is the most important thing when you're dealing with the unseen realm, is intention. Like, if your intention is um, uh, to help or to heal, or like is positive, um, it will be much different than if the intention is to hurt, or you know
Mm.
um, but you're gonna get answers from both. So it's up to us to discern, right? Like, it's like the demon thing. Come back to the demon thing, right? You were saying those are ours. Yeah, they totally are. Like, heaven and hell is all us, right? So it's all about intention and choice. I think that's what it comes down to.
Beautiful. So it's like seeing where we get separated from what matters. Is that
Mhm.
something that would be a part of this exploration with psilocybin?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And it's much easier, when you're in ceremony, like when you've taken psilocybin, the ego just naturally blah, 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 like melts. It's like, oh, here I go. And then the mirror is like, okay, so what have you been doing? Like, what's been going on, right? And you're like, oh, shit. All this stuff I've been, pushing down is so obvious now, right? Uh, so things become much clearer, and that's what I love about that medicine, right? Is it doesn't, it's like me, right? It doesn't beat around the bush. It's just like, here's how it is, right? And so I think that's why it's good to have like a presence, or like a guide or something, just to keep it uh light and good, because
Mm.
there's gonna be stuff, and if you're not ready um to deal, it's good to have an energy that pulls you back to, like, okay, but it's okay, like, let's focus on this beautiful flower, or like, because there's beauty, right? um yeah.
So you're holding the balance
Yes, I think
amidst
so.
all that comes out.
Yeah. Well, the is a infamous, most people know,
Mhm.
the set and setting, right? People know that phrase. Yeah, it's very easy to go into dark places, but sometimes we really need to go there, and then get ourselves out. And then once we get ourselves out, we know we can do it too. That's part of it as well, right? Is we can't be completely babied, but it's good to kind of have to experience like a little bit of it, and that's where it comes in, like the dosage and how much people can handle, right? um yeah, like if there's a lot of trauma, you're not gonna be eating like 10 grams of psilocybin mushrooms, right? The first
Mhm.
time, it's not gonna it's not gonna be good. um if you're not prepared, right? So starting slow and then having a positive space and energy, right? uh to set the tone of how it's gonna go. And then in case things arise, you know I got my special sword. Take
Yay.
so, yeah, and it takes care of things that shouldn't be there. So, um, yeah.
I can't think of being in better hands.
Aw.
Yeah. You're so skilled at that, and just who you are is just you're so comforting, and you trust the medicine, and that's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah, fully trust. And fully trust the person too. Like that they know
Mm.
exactly. Well, it's a bit like, I mean, I totally felt when I gave birth to Leica that it was very much like that. Like it's all about your mind, your state of mind. Um, and how you approach adversity. Like, wow, adversity, like it's not. But see, birth, I don't even think is like adversity, right? I think it's just a natural thing. But the more you go with it, the easier it is, right?
Mm.
The more you fight it, the harder it's going to be, right? And I think that applies to this kind of medicine too.
Mm.
Hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. I love the description. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people that have done plant medicine, and wow, there's a lot that can go on. And
Hmm.
the one-on-one that you provide, I think, is what it's like this gift.
Oh,
Did you spend a lot of time with people when they come for a ceremony? Yeah.
yeah, a whole day. Yeah, pretty much.
And then you
Yeah.
send them home to sleep it off, absorb it, integrate it.
It's some lavender cookies.
Yeah. Perfect. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
So you're
It
on I'm sorry.
No, no, go ahead. I don't even know what I was gonna say.
You're on this beautiful property. The property found you whenever it's
Mhm.
been a love-hate affair or and I say that kindly because it's offered you some pretty big challenges as well. Can you tell us about your journey as a pioneer
Mhm.
woman and family?
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're starting an off-grid homestead. So, um, that's enough said. Okay.
Say no more.
So, we've been living, uh, without power, for a little bit now, and the water has been an issue sometimes at times. Uh, we're figuring it out though, as we go. But there's definitely like there's the same thing that's rewarding is also challenging, right? So like being in touch with the elements, right? Constantly. So that's farming for you though, right? Like that is what that is, right? When you're working out in nature, you're working with nature, right? So there's definitely been challenges for sure. Um, but it's okay. You can't let it get you down, right? So if something arises, like we had a we had a greenhouse blow away and all my baby plants just like were destroyed. So and that was a lot of work, and a lot of tending. And so I cried for like a day and then I was like, okay, do it again. Let's start over, like what are we gonna do? Right. So it's a good lesson in perseverance um and then what truly matters, to just keep going, right? I mean, um and then it works out. It always works out, right? I mean, it's not gonna not work out. So it's I just gotta keep. I think that the energy is so healing here that I just feel so at peace that it's much harder for me to get angry or to get, to feel those kinds of things. So that's been really, really nice. But yeah, we're starting to create a homestead slash permaculture thing, and eventually we'll have goats and probably next year actually. um, but yeah, all kinds of animals and stuff. It'll be nice. It'll be really healing.
It's a huge project, but it's a total love affair that kind of pulls at every part of you.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
definitely an earth earth element. So it's just I feel just naturally I just want to be with my hands in dirt, like or like outside in the fresh air. Like I can't be inside. I can't be contained. So
That's true.
Yeah, I gotta be
There's no
outside.
stopping you or telling you
Yeah.
to, go clean up, right?
Yeah, right. So, uh, but there are challenges, but it's just so beautiful, so it's worth it. And it's like I think we were saying, right? Like there's gonna be struggle no matter what you do. Doesn't matter if there's gonna be struggle. Like you can't avoid struggle in life, but you got to choose the struggle that you don't mind and makes you feel fulfilled, right? Because there's always going to be struggle. So it's like, okay, do I choose that kind of struggle or do I choose this kind of struggle, right? And yeah, just go with this, I guess.
So it's like you're developing like this incredible resilience to what is and what shows up, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah, I think definitely this is making me way more resilient. Um, just the simple thing of like trying to figure out how to bake things, like bake. I feel like this is an interesting challenge. Let's do it, right? Like, oh my goodness. So, but it's just nice to be, in with the elements. And this is a beautiful spot. I mean, yeah.
So
So,
nice. It's been fun to kind of hear about your adventure via the grapevine and to connect with you one on one. It's absolutely amazing. I have such respect for you guys.
aw,
It's like
thanks.
a crazy but good.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, what are we doing? Yeah.
What I want to do now, Ada, is kind of close this recording here and
Sure.
this time with you, and then we'll start another with the walk through your property because I know
Sure. Yeah.
you were excited to share some things, and you've been
Mhm.
sitting in front of this beautiful fire that you built. um, it's I think it would be really wonderful for people to get a glimpse of what you're up to.
Yeah, for sure.
Sound good. And what we'll do at the end of both segments is we will provide a way for people to get in touch with you and connect. Because do you have a website that?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do. Good.
I do. I just need to I'm just working on it a little bit right now. I'm working on finessing it, so it'll be online again in a few weeks.
Great. Well, we'll keep everybody apprised as to
Yeah.
that. So, okay. So, thank you for this part. I just love hearing your story.
Aw, thanks,
It
Maureen. You're so
just
sweet to be on.
Oh, well, it's amazing. You're amazing.
Aw.
And what I know of Leica and your hubby there, it's you guys are
Yeah.
something else.
We're
Yeah.
hardcore.
Yeah, right. Oh,
Yeah.
so huge, huge thanks. It's been
Aw,
wonderful. Thank you. All
thank
right.
you.
So thanks to everybody for listening. And please pick up the next piece and let's walk with Ada through the property.
Cool. Did you want me to start walking, Maureen?
No, just a second. I couldn't
Okay.
find the button.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Okay.
it's okay. It's all good.
Um, all right. So I'm just going to stop it. Let's see. I know. I think I know what I'm doing. I'm going to pause it. There we go. All right.
Nice.
So we're going to start again with Ada and take a walk on her property. If you didn't catch the recording, the previous recording with her, please do that before. Or if not, let's enjoy this stroll with her and see what she's up to on her little homestead where they're working to be off grid and become sovereign and one with the land. Passing it over to you, Ada.
Yeah, so here we go. This is our little fire pit. Over there are the Enderby Cliffs, all along there. It very much feels like a Western movie. In the evening when the sun is setting and the cliffs are orange, feels pretty great. So this is one garden that we've established here. Um,
Protected from the deer?
yes, the deer, but mostly the bear.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, there's lots of bears. Uh, so yeah, we have all kinds berries, some vegetables, lots of berries. This is all going to be a fruit patch. Next year, I'm going to plant 2 rows of grapes because we can do that here. uh, and that's our little mini greenhouse that we fandangled after the last one. um,
I have a
way
question for you. Can I just
yeah,
ask a question? You said
yeah.
that that water is an issue. Is that good drinking water or is that just water in general? Oh,
Well,
goodness.
yeah, that's our watering. That's our watering right now. So it's all gravity fed. Um, so the water here, I'll turn around. The water right now is our well, because we're on a mountaintop, is really deep. And because we want to do everything without connecting to the grid, um, we have a bunch of solar uh, that's going to run this pump. The main issue has been um, this is kind of like a weird project that most well pump people that work with well pumps are like, I don't know, like, I don't run things on solar, right? So uh, it's all about finding the right crew to kind of help us out because this is all new to us. Like we're learning as we go. Like we have no idea. I know nothing about solar panels. I'm about to learn though. So that's a huge part of it is I feel like we're just learning as we go. Like a few days ago we poured a concrete pad for we're gonna have a little structure that we're gonna be living in and drying herbs in uh until we get like a house and stuff built. um because we're planning on doing a straw bale house, but you need quite a few um you have to jump through some hoops if you want to do like a more natural building. So anyways, we poured concrete and that was my first time like pouring concrete. So I was like, wow, we're doing concrete. Like I was just like, no idea what I'm doing. So uh but it's like I'm learning all the things now, right? How to do everything basically. So which has been really good. It feels rewarding. Like I feel like I'm a lifelong learner. I'm never going to stop learning, right? But this is just a whole different ballgame that I'm not
No
used
kidding.
to. Yeah. Yeah, so it's very interesting. Um keep walking
Tell me about the bears.
here. Oh man, we got bears.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about them for a minute.
This is their home, right? So we're the intruders here. So uh this is a 10-acre lot that we bought. We bought it raw, which means it was just forest. Just pure forest. So all the gardens that you see, we've cleared by hand. So we didn't have no excavator or nothing. It was just my husband and I going in there with hand tools and chainsaws and stuff. So everything that you see has been cleared like that. So it's quite it's quite a lot of work. uh, but we wanted to maintain it as wild as possible so that to not disturb like the bigger trees around here, um leave them intact, because Enderby is actually a really interesting spot. It's the end of 3 different ecosystems. The coastal rainforest ends in Enderby, and the Okanagan Desert, and then from the east, the mountain. So there's a really interesting, neat ecosystem. But yeah, the bears live here, so this is their home, right? So we're intruders. Um, but they keep to themselves. Like they're not really they're not aggressive, right? And we have a dog now, so it's kind of, they don't like each other, so they stay away from each other kind of. But I do, up the road from us, there's crown land. So it tends to be all the creatures live up there, up because we're, I'd say, like 5/6 of the mountain, and then so they're like way more up the mountain. And so there's moose and there's bears and cougars and wolves and stuff, like all the creatures, right? Um, which we see and hear on a regular basis.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's really cool. It's beautiful, right? Beautiful. Um, yeah, but I'm definitely chicken sometimes. Like when I'm like walking to the compost area at like 6 in the morning with my dog, I'm just like, okay, what was that? Oh
You
my
must
goodness.
take your dog everywhere you go then.
Yeah, yeah, for the most part. He's the protector of the land. That's his job. Um,
What kind of dog, Ada?
he's a big old mutt. So he's like
Awesome.
half black lab, some German shepherd, and some Pyrenees in him.
Oh, he must be big.
He's a big boy. He's only 8 months now, and he's like 80 pounds.
Oh my
So
goodness.
he's really big. Um, he's a good boy overall. He's really good. So, and Leica just adores him, right? He's her little brother. She calls him little brother, even though he's like twice her size. Like, I love you, little brother. Oh
Oh.
my, I know. They're hilarious. She'll try and ride him like a horse. He just puts up with it. So that's good. So here we have another little garden. Little herb garden here. Yep.
Looks like you
So
have lots of babies in there.
these are all my babies. Yeah, these are all drought tolerant. So this bed I hardly watered in the summertime. Some of them I've chopped back because I've harvested them. Skullcap, St. John's wort, verbena. There's sorry, did that cut out for you right
It
there?
did just for a second.
Okay. It's the battery. Past flower over there, which it likes to grow in rock. Angelica. These are all like tiny babies I planted this year. So next year, some of them are going to be like 8 foot tall, like this wormwood right here. Antiparasitic, ashwagandha, tiny baby echinaceas, and lavender up there.
Oh, you have to have lavender.
I plan on having so much lavender.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, so much. And I've planted all around the perimeter of that fruit garden, fruit veggie garden right now. I planted lavender all around the perimeter because most deer don't like it.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, there's lots of ways to deter animals. Like I'm gonna do a huge row of onions around that garden as well because nothing really eats them.
Mm.
So I'm gonna have like a massive, a massive row of onions. We're gonna start walking. So I can show you what I'm doing here. Yeah, so walk this way. So down in here, can't really see. Well, maybe you'll be able to see, but kind of goes down in there. It's like a dark,
Dark little hole.
forbidden. Yeah.
Secret passageway.
Yeah. So that over there is that is the gully. We call it the gully. It's a seasonal creek. So for about 3 months of the year, there's water running through. And for 1 month, there's a lot of mosquitoes.
Oh no.
It's okay. We got our plants. It's all good. But yeah. it's beautiful because let me show you. There's the cedars. There's really tall cedars and humongous Doug firs, right? That go way down there. And that gully
Nice.
passes through our property. Um, oh my goodness, what did I do? And so did I? Press
You're here.
okay. And so that gully that flows is a whole different ecosystem. So where we were just at is very much. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna plug this in. Hold on a second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna plug this in, and then we're gonna continue right where I left off. And now Herb is following me. Our dog.
Oh, I can hear the dog.
He just showed up.
Can we see him?
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
He's our big boy.
Oh, he's awesome. He wants to be a part of the journey.
Yeah, he's like, okay, what are we doing here? We're
Yeah,
going to the
let's
other
do
side.
it.
Let's go. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, Sunday morning walk.
Exactly. So yeah, that gully over there is a whole different ecosystems. There's 3 just on this property. So where we were at the beginning, that's very much the North Okanagan like plants. Sorry, Dan, I'm just on the phone. It's one of my neighbors. So this walk that we're doing here, this is what it looks like.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so that's part of our property over there. This area where the gully is in there somewhere, and this whole, I mean, it's wild, right? It's like forest, like look
Is
at
it
these.
ever?
Yeah, so there's some huge trees there. I think this area here, actually, there's some hazelnuts growing, which is wild hazelnuts. See if I can find any. But so 3 different ecosystems. The North Okanagan, which is the huge bull pines on the other side. That area is really arid and dry. It's also the most open one. So it has like grasses and stuff. So it's easier for building like houses and stuff on. Because it's mostly, the vegetation is not like humongous, right? Like it's dry. And then walking through here, there's the gully on that side with the massive cedar, and when you get down to the water down below, there's moss. It's really pretty. It's like a little bubbling brook when it's running, and like it just loves playing in it, right? So it's really nice for her to have. She's very much water to play with. And then it's a little bit of a walk, sorry. But actually I could show you, because so like, you know, this is what I'm doing right now. It's like bush.
Gorgeous. Was that road there before, or was that something you guys created?
No, well, this was here before. It's just a path between our properties, basically. But down there is us, and this whole area, this path is the bears love it. Let me just tell you. This is their this is the animal corridor for sure. So in the springtime, when I was walking with Herb one morning, and I seen a fawn running just down here, actually. There's a fawn running this way. This is like very much animal, right? So that's uphill. Uphill, and that goes downhill. So we seen a fawn running, and
I can't hear you.
Sorry.
There you go.
So the fawn was running, and Herb was he's still a pup, so he was looking at me like, what do we do now? And I was like, don't move. That's what we do. Don't be moving. so so we just kind of stood there because I was like, something is chasing this animal, right? Like this little fawn. And it was a wolf. It was a wolf
Oh
chasing
my
it.
goodness.
Yeah, so it went right in front of us, like 10 feet away. And it didn't notice us. It was so focused, right? Like fully focused on the fawn. And then I heard like a meh, right? Because it got it, right? It captured it.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
nature.
sad, but
Yeah.
it was pretty like it was like a National Geographic moment. I was like, whoa, like did y'all see that? Everybody see that? And it's like, nope, you seen that. I was like,
oh my gosh, nature is just like brutal sometimes. I mean, it's not
yeah.
pretty.
Mm-hmm. And then we've had Herb like come back with like a leg. Just like, oh my god, Herb, like from this pond. I'm like, oh my
Oh
goodness.
no.
Yeah, he's he's a dog.
He's
so
a dog, I know.
That's what they do. Yeah. So okay, so here we go. So this is my straw for my garlic that I'm gonna plant. We're going down here. You can probably hear Herb following me. It's like live television.
It is. I love
feel like
it.
you're on a hunting show. So those are my garlic beds.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did they produce this year?
They produced a lot. Yeah, for sure. And I have to plant them probably today, actually. That's my job.
Oh, nice.
So you can kind of see it's like a triangle, this area. So the middle piece, that's what Grant and I have been working on. The two of us with Leica watching us. We call it live television. He's like cheering us on. It's really cute.
Oh.
But basically this whole triangle that we're working on slowly is what we're going to be. It's going to be one of our spots here that we're growing a lot of things in.
So you're clearing that triangle.
We're clearing it, but not, I want to leave all the big trees. So we're clearing the shrub and the understory. And I'll show you kind of, so this is a big triangle, right? Like this whole thing, you can see the other path there. And this is a path. And so we've only really managed to do like a third of it. I'd say
it's a big job.
It's a huge job, and it's like several years worth of planting. But this is our herb garden from last year. I don't know if you can see.
Oh, nice.
It's completely wild, and everything is like 8 foot tall and falling over.
What is that one just right at the bottom there?
This one?
Well, what's that one?
This one is mugwort.
Nice.
Yeah,
mugwort. And the one to the left of it with the kind of
feverfew.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Elecampaign.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Yeah, and then some comfrey. The deer really like the comfrey.
Oh, yeah, I see that. Nibbles everywhere.
Munch, yeah. Some coastal sage, gumweed. This is where we had a big tobacco bed last year. More mugwort. I'm growing mugwort that's what we use for moxa, right?
Yeah.
All the little mugworts that I planted this year, and then that's next year's crop. And then the wormworts, I told you they get to be like 10 feet tall, right? So
yeah,
that's motherwort up there. Some more verbena. Yeah. So those are last year's. Kind of, this is another fire pit, our hangout spot. And then so we started planting this year. We started this is what we've been doing. This is like a garden in the forest. Like this is what
Oh
we've been.
my goodness.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, huh?
Wow, I would say
Yeah,
so much work. Oh my goodness,
yeah,
but worth it.
yeah. Very beautiful. Uh, so that's what we've been up to. Maybe we can go into the gully. Oh, Herb's barking at something.
Hmm.
So there's a bear that's been coming to the compost area,
Mm-hmm.
and so he can probably smell him. The bear has been getting into our compost.
Oh
He's
no.
like, "Oh, corn and potatoes, lovely." Like
It's a
just
buffet.
gorge. Yeah, exactly.
Oh
Last
man.
year, the biggest bear I ever seen was last year on this property. It was 600-pound black bear.
Holy moly.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was a mama bear. I'm not sure, but she's big. so so yeah, this is one. Oh, I should show you. So this is still the same. So this is the bottom corner of the that I was telling you of that triangle.
Yes.
So this is the bottom. It goes that way. That's where Herb is, somewhere down there. But it's awesome because in the winter this is all snow, and so we just make a little snowboard hill or a skiboard hill and we go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, so this is the part that's pretty epic over here. I'll see if I can even get down there. I don't know. Right now everything's pretty overgrown, but I was telling you about the gully, right?
Mm.
So this is going down into here.
It looks deep.
It's pretty wild right now. I'm not gonna lie. It's like much. So yeah, it's really deep in there. Yeah.
Wow.
Are we going down there? You can if you want to. Yeah. So animals come to drink from there, right? In the months
Yes.
that there's water, in the springtime.
Mm-hmm.
There's pretty.
Amazing.
Yeah. So that's kind of what. I don't know if I should venture in there. I think I'm gonna. I don't remember which way the path is.
Oh, yeah, better to
Because
maybe stay up top.
yeah, we've been macheting through this area, but it grows so quickly that it's
Mm-hmm.
impossible to tell like where the actual path is right now. It's
Mm-hmm.
easier from the other side, the drier side or whatever. But there's a lot of medicines here just growing wild,
Mm-hmm.
just abundant.
Beautiful. Do you
It's a
venture out on the property, like all the property most days?
oh yeah, for sure. Well, the compost is on this side, so we eat a
Oh,
fair share of compost stuff. I'm like, let's keep it as far away from our living quarters
yeah, no kidding. So
and
it's a
close.
daily walk.
Yeah, it's a daily walk pretty much, which is good for a herb too, right?
Mm.
And not sure where the animal quarters are gonna go, but um, they might be on this side. But I want them kind of close because then all the predators are gonna start coming. But
Yeah.
yeah,
You can keep an eye on them.
for sure.
Wow.
There's
Well,
some little mushies.
oh, cool. Nice.
Oh, baby.
Are those edible?
These are yeah, they're actually um little baby red belted conchs.
Mm.
So they're good medicine, very nice medicine. But yeah, and then there's random patches of like chaga, like mushroom. See, this is why we want to keep it wild. This is
Oh,
on a
look at that.
birch tree. That's chaga mushroom. Right there.
Oh my goodness.
So that's why we want to keep it wild, because there's so much medicine that's growing. And not just that, but also just for all the creatures that were here before us. Like, it's not really fair to destroy everything, right? But it's a lot more work to selectively clear everything. Much easier to come in with a bulldozer and, I'm just like destroy. But it's interesting because I can show you, for example, one of our neighbors up here. When he bought his property, it was already kind of bulldozed, right? Which is a bit sad.
It can grow back though, I imagine.
Oh yeah. It just takes a long time, right?
Yeah,
like
right?
these massive trees. These are like huge trees, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah, they're huge.
So it's kind of sad to just cut them all down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'll show you one more from the top of this. But our neighbor from below us, from the bottom of our hill, he selectively cleared his, like not cleared, but like, the underbrush. And it looks very nice because the big trees that just open up, right? And you can see the valley down below.
Oh, nice.
So, sorry, like out of breath here. Feeling pregnant right now.
How far along are you?
I'm like 5 months now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Good times. This is the road.
Wow.
Okay, so way down that way. We can't see it right now, but there's Revelstoke down there somewhere.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, Revelstoke. See if I can get. It's pretty here. So this is our neighbor. He's building his own house. Pretty epic that he's doing himself.
Look at that.
But like he's the one that his property when he bought it was mostly cleared already. It's just it makes me a bit sad, compared to like all the big trees and stuff. But let's see if I can get a Revelstoke in there. I think that's about as good as it's gonna get. Let's see here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
In the distance there.
Beautiful.
We're up in the mountains. It's nice.
Oh my goodness. Yes. It must be getting really cool at night.
Yeah. And in the morning, it's like 3 degrees.
Oh.
Yeah. We have our big, blanket that goes to like -50 that we huddle up like sardines under. We're all like lined up in our bed.
Oh, all that body heat helps too.
Yeah, it's all good. You know what? If our ancestors could do this, like, we got it. We can do it too.
Got it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And there's something cool. Like, I'm not averse to, I'm not completely averse to technology or whatever. So there's lots of cool things to help now, that gadgets and things, little tricks and hacks that people didn't have before, right? So it's much easier to do this now.
Wow. Well, Ada, I thank you for the walk. It's been amazing. I haven't gotten out there myself personally, but boy, now I can appreciate
you gotta come
the love affair that you have, and oh my gosh, all the hard work that you're doing. It's crazy.
It is a bit crazy.
Crazy wild woman in the woods.
Just gotta chip away at it, right? A little bit at a time.
Yeah. Aw. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been amazing.
I hope everybody had some fun. I don't know.
Exactly. Well, I sure did. Aw. Well, thanks so much. And we'll talk again super soon.
Sounds good.
Thank you.